everybody. Thanks again for taking 5 Shots Golf September. I'm going to go ahead and play a round of golf this morning at Meadowlinks, 9 holes, just like you would, and show you how the 5 shots apply to my round so that you can learn a lot from it. I think the video will take about 20 or 30 minutes for you. Hope you enjoy it. Let's go see how I do today. Alright, so I'm going to come out to hit a couple balls to loosen up. Most early mornings like this, I only hit about 10 balls. And then you'll see in a moment I go hit some chips and pitches and putts around the practice green. I do that every morning for sure. Sometimes I don't hit these 10 balls depending on how rushed I am. And then also what I do is I write down my PGA score, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Now I've hit some balls, now I'm going to hit some putts, chips, and pitches. This is the most important thing to do before a round of golf, is get the speed of the greens for that particular day. And what I have here is simply my 7-iron for chips, all my chips, my 64-degree lob wedge for all my pitches, and my putter for all my putts. And this gives me the practice of actually being nervous and hitting a shot. Trying to make the score. I'm trying to make a 2 with this chip. So that's perfect. Remember, there are only 3 ways a chip or pitch or putt can end up. That one went in the hole. So it's either a little short, a little long, or perfect. That was definitely perfect. That one's a little short. And so now I'm doing the exact same shot, it's just 3 putts instead of 3 chips. Both of them are the same feel in the sense that I want to make sure I get down in no more than 2 shots by virtue of hitting this first one the perfect distance. So what you see now, I've hit my 3 putts, they're all dead straight, nothing's more than 3 inches from the hole in terms of direction. But in terms of distance, I have 2 perfect and 1 a little short. So on 2 of them I have my guaranteed par. 1 of them will be a little bit of work for my par. It might end up being a 3-putt bogey. So what I'm going to do now is write down my PGA scores, like I said. Poor, good, average. Based on the conditions today, the tee markers I'm playing, who I'm paired with, the time of day, how much I've been practicing lately, how I've been playing, did I have a good night's rest, all these different things. I'm going to write down my PGA scores. If I play poorly, this is what I'll shoot, P. G, if I play good, this is what I shoot. And A, if I play about average, this is what I'll shoot today, I predict. So I'm writing it down now, and we'll go over it at the end of the round, I guarantee you. And one other thing I want to make sure I have is my yardage book for this particular course. We're playing Meadowlinks today, I'm playing Meadowlinks. This tells me a lot about this golf hole, and all 9 golf holes at Meadowlinks. This particular green is 32 yards deep. That helps me a bunch as I plan my approach shot, so that if I miss it if I miss it, I'll end up with a putt or a chip, hopefully, rather than a pitch. This first hole, I have about 140 to the middle, so 125 to the front edge. My 7-iron goes about 150, but it's early in the morning, so I'm going to choke down on my 7-iron, hit it about 130, 135, I hope, a little left of the flag. So that one, even though it's my 7-iron, that went right on the front edge of the green. 125, I think I have either a putt or a chip left, should be a par. So now it looks like it did reach the front edge of the green here. I know my shot went 125 yards to the front edge here. And I have about a 32-footer left. If I hit it perfect, I'll have a tap in for my par at worst. Now I get to tap in for my par. Because that first putt was perfect distance. Good news. So I write my score down, and I'll show you at the end of the day what this scorecard will look like. And I check my yardage, how deep this green is, so that if I miss my shot, I'll hopefully leave a putt or chip with this approach rather than a pitch. So now I'm on the second hole. I have 140 to the middle, so the green's 31 deep. So I have 125 to the front edge again. A little bit of wind with me, but again, I'm still not loosened up a lot. So I'm going to say it's a choke down 7-iron again. I was aiming at the middle of the green, but I pull hooked it a little bit, but it stayed on the green, so it looks like I have about a 30-foot putt. So again, it should be no worse than par if I hit the first putt the perfect distance. So you see here, it turned out pretty good for me. Even though it felt to me like it was a big pull hook, I only have a 15-footer. The rub is it's downhill, side hill, so as always, I have to make sure the speed is perfect. So if it doesn't go in, I'll have a tap in for my nice 2-putt. That'll be golf success for a putt. And I'll have another nice boring par, I hope. So I love that because it's a nice boring 2-putt. I could have 3-putted that if I wasn't careful. And I had a little 6-inch tap in for my par. That's living. Tell me when you're close.
It is.
All right, there's Bill. He's nice enough. He's our greenskeeper that keeps everything so great for us out here at Meadowlinks. And I really appreciate them. My grandpa was a greenskeeper and a golf course architect and builder and stuff, so those are awful nice guys. They let me come out here early in the morning like this, other times when other people aren't allowed out here. So you're not allowed out here, but I am. So they're awful nice to let me do that, and they keep the place looking great for us. So now, from here, I have 115 to the middle. I checked my yardage book. This is 28 yards deep green. So I want to hit this about 115 or 120. I don't want to go behind this flag because I'd have a pitch rather than a putt or a chip. So I want to hit it about 115 or 120 in the middle with my pitching wedge. So that went a little left of the flag, only about 10 feet left. But it looks like I hit about 120, so it looks like I'm going to have about a 10 or 15-foot straight uphill putt for birdie. And I'm glad it's kind of close, but the main thing is it's not a pitch, it's a putt or a chip with my approach, one of the 5 shots, so I'm very happy. So here on number 3, it turns out I do. I've already paced it off. I pace off all my putts. I don't get analytical about it. I just pace it off, mainly for informational purposes after the round. I'll show you that later. But yeah, I have my 17-foot birdie putt straight up the hill. I'm very happy with that. Not because it's relatively close, just because it's not a pitch. It's a putt or a chip. So here's this putt. I should hit it the perfect distance, I hope. So if I miss, again, I have a tap in. There again, I'm very happy with that. It's not a birdie, but it's a nice 6-inch tap in for my par. I know if I just hit a little firmer, it would have gone in the hole for my birdie, but hey, it's a tap in par. I'll take that all day long. Okay, so now here I'm at the 4th hole. This is 315 from where I'm playing it today. Remember, golf success for a drive is in play. So again, because I'm not real loosened up, I'm going to try and hit this 7-wood of mine about 200 yards, and then I should have about 115 yards left. All I want is this drive in play. If it's down the middle, I'll take it, but I just don't want it in the woods out of play. I want it in play. So, I kind of pull hooked that one a little bit. It looks like that's going to be out of play. Probably so, so it's out of play. I want to just make sure I make bogey on this hole at worst. Let's see what happens. So here I found my ball, and sure enough, I would call this an out of play drive because I don't have a straight, free open shot at the green. I've measured it already. I have 130 to the middle. This green's 34 deep according to my yardage book. So that means I have about 115 to the front edge. Let me figure this out, and we'll see how I hit it. Very interesting. All right, I'm saying there's no way I can really get it on or around the green because of this big cedar tree, so I'm just going to say this is out of play. I'm going to pitch out to about 70, 80, 90, 100 yards, and knock the next one on, I hope, and 2-putt for a nice regulation bogey at worst. Let's see what happens. I'm happy with that. It looks to me like I'm going to have about a 100-yard shot into the middle of that green. I'll take that. So here I am, sure enough. I'm right on 100 yards to the middle. According to my yardage book, 34-yard deep green. That gives me about 85 to the front edge. Let me figure out which wedge I'll hit. I have 5 wedges. Let me figure out which one I'll hit. So I've chosen my gap wedge. Like I said, 100 to the middle, 85 to the front edge. In the spring, before I injured my elbows, when I was practicing this a lot, this club with this swing went 90 yards. So I'm going to say that should be ballpark. I'm going to aim a little left of the flag. Alright, so I got that pretty fat. It bounced in front of the green onto the front edge of the green, so it actually ended up going about 85 yards. And I have about a 30 or 40 foot putt for my par, 2 putts. It'll be a nice routine bogey. I'll take it from where my drive was. So now I have a 40-foot putt for par. Again, 2 putts is golf success. If the first one goes in, I'll take it. I'm just only going to be really upset if I 3-putt it. Mainly because this would be a little short or a little long on this first putt, this 40-footer. So again, dupes, 3 putts, 3 pitches are the 3 main things that create big holes. I've already hit a drive out of play. I have a dupe on this hole already. If I 3-putt it, it's a miserable double bogey 6. If I just 2-putt it, it's a bogey 5. And I tell people I love bogeys when they're not doubles, triples, or quads. Bogeys are beautiful. Let's see if I make a bogey at worst. It's a little short. I have about 3 feet left, so now I'm going to have to work for my second putt. And so now I have a big old borrow mark right in my line, so I'm going to take the time to fix it. I don't want to blame anything else for possibly making a mistake with this 3-footer. Okay, so now I have that distraction cleared out. Should be able to make this 3-footer if I do good. So there, I was very nervous about that, but that is the best shot of all 5 of these in this bogey. If I miss that one, it's a miserable double bogey 6. Because I made that 3-footer, that's the payoff putt, like the payoff pitch in baseball, the 3-2 count. We find out if you're a hero or a goat, if you get a hit or an out. That is the payoff putt in golf. That 2-putt saved me from making an ugly double or triple. It's a nice routine 5, I take it. So this is Ron. I've just been knowing Ron for about 30 years or so is all. So he's another one of these nice maintenance guys out here at Meadow Links to keep the place looking so nice for us. In fact, he used to call me TK, Tree Killer, because I ran over one of the trees he planted in the wintertime over there at Winton Woods in 1987. Thankfully, Ron's forgiven me.
Wow, he's got a good memory. That's better than mine.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks for talking good for the camera.
All right, so this is the 5th hole at Meadow Links. From these tee markers today, it's 85 to the middle. This green's 34 deep and the flag's back just a little bit. So I'm going to hit it about 85 or 90, so I'm going to use my gap wedge again. That's on the green. Again, it's not a pitch, it's a chip or a putt. In fact, it's a putt about 30 feet, but that's golf success. And so that wedge went about 85 or 90 yards, just like I was figuring. Even though I missed a little bit, I'm happy with it. So here it turns out I have a 21-footer for birdie. Again, I'm looking at this. It'd be great if it goes in for birdie. I just want to make sure it's a perfect speed, perfect putt, so that if I miss it, I have my tap in for par. And that was a successful approach again, because again, it got me with a putt or a chip. So I'm real happy with that. Because again, even though I missed my birdie putt, it's a tap in, a nice perfect putt, perfect speed, tap in for my par. Alright, so now this is the 6th hole at Meadow Links. This is our most complicated hole. According to my yardage book, from 270 to the middle is where this hole is playing. So it's a real short par 4, but it's fairly complicated. The other side of the creek is 60 yards from there to the middle, so I would have to hit a 210 to carry the creek. A little bit of wind with me. I'm a little more loosened up now. Or if I laid up, I would lay up to about 130 from the green, so that means I'd hit it 140 from here. I'm having a little trouble deciding if I should hit my driver over the creek. I think, again, I'm not that loosened up. I think I'll just hit my 9-iron with this wind down to about the 130 mark. So I hit my 9-iron 140 from here down to the 130 mark, and then have a 130 shot in. Hopefully get it on the green and 2 putts for another boring par. So here, like I said, I've changed my mind. I'm going to hit my 7-iron about 150 down to the 120 mark into the middle of the green, get on the green with my successful approach, I hope, and then have another successful 2-putt for par at worst. And again, now this is a drive, even though this is 7-iron, I'm doing everything I can to keep this drive in play. Let's see how I do. Okay, so I was aiming at that big tree on the right. I pushed it a little bit, but it came back a little bit for me. And it looks like it kicked a little left, so it might be in the rough, but I have a clear shot at the green. I didn't go down in the creek, so I'm saying that's a drive in play. That's golf success. I'm happy with this 7-iron for now. So, now this is very interesting. This is why that 7-iron was a little risky, because it turns out that this ball, now I only have about 105 or 110 to the middle, so that means I hit that 7-iron about 165. I would only hit that 7-iron normally 150. It's because, look at this, it hit on this downslope, which I was prepared for, and it rolled down this hill so much, you can see the trail through the dew. You see I have a little downhill putt, or downhill shot into the green, but if it had gone any farther left, I would have been over there in the bullywoogers down the creek, or if it had gone farther right, at least I would have been out of the creek, but it still would have been trouble. So I'm real happy with this drive. It's in play, even though it's a downhill lie. It's in play. Hopefully I can get on the green with this approach shot and leave a chip or a putt. Okay, so like I said, I have 105. Now normally that would be a fairly simple kind of shot, but this is pretty complicated. It's a downhill lie to a very shallow green. This green's only 25 deep, and the right half of it is only 18 yards deep. And I have this big tree with these branches that stick out and seem to get everybody's shot, no matter how trajectory you hit. These branches seem to foul up a lot of shots. That's why this one of the reasons this hole is so complicated. So I'm going to aim left of those branches. Remember, the goal with an approach is just on the green, or to leave a chip, a putt or a chip. So I'm going to, not interested in the flag stick, it's on the right side of the green. I'm going to aim a little left of the flag stick, hit a good shot here, right on about 105 yards to the middle in terms of distance, and hopefully have a putt or a chip left. Let's see what happens. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now that ball went, remember my last two holes I hit my gap wedge about 85 yards because of this severe downhill slope, and the ball hit in front of the green off the fringe, took a big bounce and rolled about another 10 or 15 yards. That ball actually went 110 plus 12, that ball actually went 122 yards. So the varying distances quite often are very much a surprise to the average golfer, to folks like yourself. You really want to learn how to do these kinds of things. That's one of the reasons we're out here, to show you all these different contingencies when you're playing around a golf. But again, I'm glad. Looks like I left myself a putt rather than a chip or pitch. Remember, I want a putt or a chip. Definitely didn't leave a pitch, so hopefully two good putts now. I have another nice boring par. So now what I see here, like I said, I have a 32-foot putt. I've paced it off. And this is good that it's a putt, but boy, it's a pretty complicated one. I don't like to call things easy or hard. I like to call them simple or complicated. So this has quite a bit of break to the right once it gets going down there, and then it's downhill, so those are generally a little harder to make sure you get the right pace, the right distance. Let's see how I do. Okay, I'm doing jumping jacks on the inside. I'm doing back handsprings. There, watch me now, I have about a 6-inch tap in. Again, if I was Tiger Woods or somebody, I might be doing a fist pump now. Even though that didn't go in, that's a nice 6-inch tap in for my par on a fairly complicated hole. So here I am on the 7th hole at Meadowlinks. This green's 29 deep according to my yardage book. On the full depth of the green, but on the right side it's only about 18 or 20 deep, kind of like the last hole, so that makes it a little more complicated. But you know, I haven't written my score down since the second tee, so I better write it down now, and then I'll figure out this next shot here in a moment. So like I said, this green's 29 deep on the left side. The flag sticks about in the middle, a little bit toward the front, but the main thing is I want to leave an uphill putt or chip. So I'm going to hit this. I have 130 to the middle, 115 to the front edge. So I'm going to hit a choke down 9-iron to the left side of the green, so I have some kind of uphill or across the hill 20-30 footer for birdie. Let's see what happens. That's about what I wanted. I pull hooked it a little bit, but it's still a putt, and it looks like I have about 30 or 40 feet straight up the hill for my birdie. Again, golf success for an approach is either leaving a putt or a chip for your next shot. So that's success, even though it's about 40 feet from the hole. I'll take it. So, see, I took 9 paces there, so that means I have a 27-footer. And then I pretty much forget that as I hit the putt. But it doesn't take any more time to do that. I took the flag out and I just walked back to my ball, so it doesn't slow down play at all. And again, I'm looking for a perfect putt, goes a perfect distance. Let's hope this first one goes in. If it doesn't though, it should have a tap in from a nice boring par. I'm going to call that perfect, even though I have about a foot or two left, kind of side hill. I'm going to have to mark that and do a little work, but I hit it the perfect distance. So let's see if I make this par. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mark this and take my time, go through my whole routine to make this par. So I have this putt. It's only about a foot or two, but it's kind of side hill. And so I'm going to say I'm going to go through my whole routine to see if I make this putt. And so it's not a tap in. It's either tap in or putt. A tap in is a total no-brainer, as you've seen me make a few of those today, where I didn't have to do anything. But I'm saying this requires my attention, any of my attention at all, so I'm going to mark it and go through my whole routine. Now this is one of my few idiosyncrasies, I think, on the golf course, picky golfers. I cannot stand a putt with a flag behind the hole. So even on this little putt, if that's distracting me and bothering me, and if I can control that, I'm going to change that. I'm not going to let it sit there and then blame that for me missing this putt. If I can control it, which I can, I'm going to move that. Okay, now that was not too exciting, I know, but I'm saying of the 3 shots that added up to a par on this hole for me, that was the best shot, because again, that was the payoff putt. Just like the 3-2 count in baseball. If I miss that, now this whole hole becomes a miserable bogey, but if I make it, now it's just another boring par and I don't think about this hole the rest of the day, which is what we want. So now, here I am on the 8th tee, coming off the 7th green, obviously, but let me tell you this. Now, this is kind of personal, kind of earthy, but if anything distracts you at all on the golf course, if you can control it, like I just did that flag stick on that 2-footer, if you can control it and take care of it so it's not a distraction before you do it. So what happened was, normally I walk, but today we have a golf cart, and I just really needed to go to the restroom after coming off that 7th green, believe it or not. So I actually took the cart, went to the restroom, and come back now to hit my tee shot on 8. And again, I don't want to be too weird or anything, or personal or earthy, but it's true. If there's anything at all that distracts you and would keep you from hitting a good shot, and you can control it and take care of it so it's no longer a distraction, take care of it, please. It'll help you now as you hit this particular golf shot. And the other thing I want you to appreciate is that there's a difference between your 2-second golf swing, your 45-second shot, and your 4-hour round. So I'm saying something as earthy and as down to earth and as mundane as needing to go to the restroom is part of your 4-hour round, and that will make a difference on how well you perform in your 45-second shot and your 2-second swing. So now on this 8th tee, this hole is only 260 from the white. Again, another very short par 4, but it's fairly complicated. I've seen a lot of people make 6s, 7s, and 8s on this hole when they thought it would just be some easy birdie or eagle hole. So what I feel I'm going to do this morning, again, I'm not totally loosened up. I have 170 according to the yardage book to get to that right bunker. So I'm going to hit my 6-iron. It normally goes about 160. So that way I could hit it straight at that bunker and it won't go in that bunker. The fairway is wider at 160 yards from here than it would be if I hit a longer club. And if I hit it about 160, that means I have about 100 left. So again, another nice boring approach that either leaves me a chip or a putt. So this is the best club I can put in my hand right now to really make sure, not that my drive is really long, but that my drive is in play rather than out of play. Remember, for golf success, the 5 shots, a drive is either in play or out of play. Let's hope I get this 6-iron in play. You know what? My videographer just made a mistake there and didn't record the actual swing. Here's what happened though. I hit a shot and went straight at that bunker like I said it might. But thankfully, because it was my 6-iron, it's in the fairway and stayed short of that bunker. It's in the right side of the fairway. Even though I hit that shot thin, that golf swing was bad. It was a 2-second golf swing that was bad. But see, the 45-second shot is good because it's a drive in play rather than out of play. And I can have a free, clear shot at the green from where I hit it. So that was much better than if I'd hit a 4-iron or a 5-wood or a 3-wood on that same line with the same 2-second swing. Would have put me way deep in the woods or a penalty shot in the lateral hazard out there. So that was a good golf shot, 45-second shot, but a bad 2-second swing. But you see, relative to my score, that works very well. So here, sure enough, remember I said my 6-iron goes about 165. We're right here by the 100-yard marker. So that means on this 260-yard hole, I hit my 6-iron kind of thin, about 160 yards. But it's beautifully in play. I love that. And another complicated matter about this particular shot, the ball has mud on it, and it's kind of settled down in a little bit of an old divot. And then, now look at this flag. That flag is just on the other side of that rough. This green is only 25 deep, a very shallow green, and very sloped, so it's a very complicated green area up there. So instead of aiming at that flag for sure, I'm going to aim at the left edge of that left bunker, because on that line I have a lot of room to kind of miss it right or left and still end up with either my putt or my chip. I have 100 to the middle, 90 to the front edge. So I'm going to pull up my gap wedge again. You know how it is, some days you end up hitting the same club a lot of times. So this is about the 4th or 5th time today I think I've hit my gap wedge. But I'm going to hit this gap wedge because when it's sitting down like that in a divot, it tends to come out lower and go a little farther than normal. So let's hope this either ends up with a putt or a chip, a successful golf approach. So I like that a lot. That ball was, you see how big my divot is here? That's because that's by far the biggest divot I've taken today. You see parts of it out there. It's because that ball was sitting down on that hard pan in that old divot. I had to really go down after it. I played it farther back in my stance, and you see it went straight at the left edge of that bunker and ended up around the front edge of the green. So that means that ball went about 90 yards. I'm pretty sure I have a putt left. If not, it's just a chip, another 30, 40 footer up the hill for a nice boring 2-putt again, I hope. So here I am now. Remember, I don't like the flag stick behind the hole, so I pull it out and I just lay it over here somewhere. And obviously, if I'm playing with people, they lay it down somewhere else, but if it bothers me, I go and move it. I don't say anything to them about it. And then I pace it off. So I have 29 feet on this one. And again, straight uphill putt pretty much, so I'm really happy with those first 2 shots that I hit. That good drive was in play, that good approach left me a putt. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I thought I hit that a mile past, but I knew I had to feel it up there, so I'll have about a 1-footer up the hill for my par. Let's see if I can tap it in. Yeah, I'm going to say this is a tap in. Unlike that last 1 or 2-footer, this is straight up the hill. I don't need to think about it at all. So again, I'm real happy. That was a nice boring 2-putt for another nice boring par. Alright, so here we are in the 9th tee of Meadowlinks. Now this is another thing you want to consider. This hole is 255, another short par 4 from the middle teeing ground, but the tee markers are up about 5 or 10 yards. So you always want to look where the actual tee markers are that day. That helps you a lot to know exactly how long the hole is, especially on par 3s. Now, this is 250, so I could, anytime you're over 200 yards, don't just always pull out your 5-wood or 3-wood or driver. Think about it and think, you know what, if I divide by 2, what are the various possibilities? So 250, that means I could hit it 150 and 100, or I could hit it 250 and 0, or I could hit it about maybe 160 and 90. Just think of all the possibilities for the 2 shots that could get you home there. And again, it might just be 1 shot. If you can hit it 250 and 0 and you want to try it, go ahead if it's a good, smart play. So what I'm going to do here, though, again, since I'm not loosened up, like I said, I am more loose now than I was 9 holes ago, I guarantee you, but I'm not hitting it great with my full swing and a drive. The purpose of it, remember, is to be in play. I think I'm going to hit my 6-iron again. Now, remember, it goes 165 normally, but we're downhill and downwind, so I bet this thing might end up going about 180. So that would normally be my 4-iron. But I don't need to hit my 4-iron 180 here because it's downhill, downwind. I can use those conditions to my advantage, those weather conditions to my advantage. So I'm going to hit this 6-iron. I'm going to aim left center of the fairway. And again, I'm hoping that this drive will be in play. Okay, so that started on the exact line I wanted, stayed pretty straight. I got it high on the face, so it didn't go as far as I thought, so it'll probably end up going about 160 down this hill, downwind. And he bounced into the right rough. It's not a fairway hit, but it's a drive-in play, so that's success. I enjoy my good misses like all good players do, and like I want you to. Okay, so like I said, it kind of bounced in the right rough. I have 85 to the middle. This green's 30 deep, 29 deep. 30 is good enough for us. So that means I have 85 to the middle, 70 to the front edge. Now, I've played so little this summer that I had to think for a minute how far my various wedges go. I have 5 wedges. This is my lob wedge. It goes 60 normally with my normal little half wedge swing. So I think I'm going to hit this kind of full, because if it goes about 70 in the air, it'll land on the left side of the green and sit down and stop there. And I'd have a 2-putt kind of across down the hill for my par. Or, I don't want to go straight at the flag, because if I go straight at the flag and goes a little right at all, it could kick off that hill and go into the woods even. So I'm going to aim about 15 feet left of this flag and try and get this to land on the green. Or if it goes short and hits on the down slope in front of the green, at least it'll probably stay on the green. It'll run all the way to the back of the green or maybe off the back edge. But all those things that I'm going to do on this line with this club should end up in a putt or a chip rather than a pitch. Alright, now that look, I hit that real solidly. It was sitting up in this crabgrass. If any of you were poor growing up, kind of like I was, this crabgrass was a beautiful lie when you were a kid playing golf and you didn't play any of the nice courses. So that was sitting up for me real well, unlike the last hole where it was sitting down in a divot. And I hit it pretty solidly, and it went right about where I wanted, about 15 feet left of the flag on that line. And the way it landed, it looks like it hit on the green and kind of bounced low and stayed there instead of hitting the downslope and jumping way forward across the green. So I think that's going to be another 2-putt worse for my par. Alright, so here it is. So yeah, that turned out nice. This flag stick, in fact, was even farther down this green than I thought it was. That's an 18-footer I have left. I'll go fix my ball mark, and then I'll read this, and let's see how I do with it. Okay, so that was an 18-footer, and I left it about 3 feet short, so that was definitely a little short, so I definitely have some work left for my par here. Okay, so here's this 3-footer. I'm going to go through my routine. Again, now this is the payoff putt. Remember, I hit a drive-in play, I hit an approach that was successful as well, that left me a putt, but now because my first putt being off in terms of distance, it was a little short, now I have to work for my par. But now this will be the best shot of all 4 of them. If I make it, it'll be the worst shot of all 5 of them if I miss it. Okay, now again, I'm doing jumping jacks on the inside about that putt. I'm so happy that that ended up being a par rather than a bogey on this hole. I had a lot of distractions. There's some noise in the background here. There's a big outing about to take off. So all those things go on. Now nobody knows about that except me and the Almighty, but I know inside that that was a fantastic 3-foot putt. I'm very excited about that shot, more so than even the other good shots on this hole, to create just another nice boring par. Okay, so that was 9 holes. I'm going to go inside and go over the scorecard like I do at the end of every round. This is how I do it too when I'm with you during a play with a pro. And I'm going to do it, and I do it for myself. Like you all know, I'm very disciplined about putting all my scores down and knowing exactly what I did. So I'm guessing, for my PGA score, I'm guessing I played better than average today. Let's go see what I wrote down and kind of go over it there inside. You can learn a lot about your game at your home learning environment as well as at the range and at the course, because again, you're going to go over your scorecard and learn a lot about your game. It'll help your game sitting down at a table or in an easy chair somewhere at home. Let's go do that now. Okay, so now I'm here in the snack bar at Metal Links going over my rounds so I can really learn about my golf game. I shot a 32 with 18 putts. My PG&A score was, remember I wrote it down on the first tee, was 38, 29, 34. If I played poorly, it wouldn't have surprised me if I shot 38. If I played well, it wouldn't surprise me if I shot about 29. And if I played about average, I was thinking because I wasn't loosened up, I've been injured all summer, I've only played maybe 3 rounds of golf in the last 6 weeks, and I haven't had any balls to practice or practice putting. I thought if I played about average, I'd shoot about 3 over here. And so it turns out I shot 32 with 18 putts, so I'm saying I played better than average today. I got to admit it. I wish I could say that, boy, if I shoot anything over par, I played terrible, but that ain't the truth. The truth is I average about 2 strokes over par per 9. So I played a little better than average today. I'm happy about that. And now remember, the 3 main things that cause big holes at any level of play are dupes, 3 putts, and 3 pitches. I had 1 dupe, no 3 putts, no 3 pitches. So if I didn't have that dupe, my new score would have been 31 with 18 putts. So that's the only real bad shot. So I'm going to say I hit 31 good shots out of my 32 shots in this 9 and just 1 bad shot. So that'd be an A in almost any school. So I'm pretty happy with that. And now that dupe is shown up here on number 4. Remember, I hit it 190 out of play with my 7-wood in those left trees. And then on the 6th hole, I hit it 165 into the fairway with my 7-iron. And then on number 8, I hit it 160 into the fairway with my 6-iron. And then on 9, I hit it 170 into the rough with my 6-iron. See, the F means I hit it in the fairway. If there's no letter, that means I hit it in the rough. And if there's an OP, that means I hit it out of play with my drive. And then to show you these other numbers, on the first hole I made a 3 with 2 putts, and I had a 32-footer, then a 1-footer. On number 2, I had a 3 with 2 putts. I had a 15-footer, then a 1-footer. Number 3, I had a 3 with 2 putts, I had a 17-footer, then a 1-footer. So this is what shows you, or shows me, obviously, exactly how long my putts were on the first putt and the second putt and the third putt if there was a third putt. And notice, again now, that my distance control with my putting was quite good today, which kind of surprises me because I hadn't done any putting practice to speak of for the last 3 or 4 months. So one of the ways you can tell my distance control was good was that my second, you can look at the length of your second putt. Because remember, we know that putting, you're not going to be right or left of the hole at all, very rarely. You're just going to be a little short or a little long if you're not perfect. So let's look at the length of my second putts today. 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. So I'm saying that's beautiful putting. Even though I didn't make any birdies, I'm saying that's really good news that almost every time, if I didn't make the first putt, I had a little 1-footer or 2-footer for my second putt. You see, the only putts that were a little long or a little short to speak of were on number 4, where I had a 3-footer that was a little short. I had to work on that. And then that last hole, that 3-footer. Now again, if I don't make those, I shoot 34, then I'm saying I played about average. So you see, how you play has a lot to do with how you putt. And even though I didn't have any 1 putts, I had 18 putts, I'm still saying I was pretty happy with my putting today. Also largely because my full swing was pretty good. Even though I didn't hit a lot of great shots, I only hit about 1 or 2 shots that were really real solid, right on the sweet spot, right the way I wanted to. But notice I can still play par golf with a lot of good misses. But I'm telling you, those good misses have taken me a lot of years to get used to attain those good misses. And in fact, I only missed 1 green in regulation. Yep, that was number 4. Remember where I hit my drive out of play. And for those of you who've seen the drive or in the drive class and the approach class, you know, like I said, about the only time I'm not around a green in regulation is when I've hit a drive out of play. Remember, I had to chip out and I had about a 100-yard wedge in to the hole there to get down in 3 to save my bogey. So that, my friends, is 5 shots golf. as best as I can describe it to you out on the golf course myself. Now, interestingly, I did not have any chips or pitches at all today to speak of. All right, so I didn't really get to show you that. I thought I obviously would have missed some greens and had some chips or pitches to show you, but I just had drives and approaches and putts today. So hopefully, though, you can still learn a lot from that. So thanks so much for being with me today and enjoying this 9 holes with me. It's a great way for you to learn about 5 shots golf and what real golf success is for you. Take care. See you soon.